Hi, and
Gold down there, Diane. There's gold down there.
You're like their number one favorite guy. Because you won them cash.
welcome to the Tour Report from Secret Golf. I'm Diane Knox, joined by Steve Elkington, and well, another major comes to a close with a very worthy champion at Torrey Pines.
Yes, indeed, Diane. With an hour and a half to go, there was 10 or a dozen big name players that had a shot at this, and one by one they sort of either stumbled or kicked their toe or whatever you want to call it. But at the end, Diane, Jon Rahm took the tournament. He was the one that just took all the pressure on the last two holes and said, you know what, this is my tournament. This is my course. I love it here. I was going to get engaged with my wife here. Did get engaged. I got a child. Both sets of grandparents are here. Everything was just lined up for Jon Rahm, and he literally took the tournament in his own pocket.
And on his first Father's Day as well with baby Kepa. But before all of that happened, I mean, we always talk about the fact that, and they kept saying it on the telecast as well, that the cream rises to the top. When it comes to majors, there's a group of guys that really can go out there and win. Fair enough, we hadn't picked the likes of Russell Henley and Mackenzie Hughes, and they played great really for 3 days of a 4-day major. But you look at that leaderboard on Sunday and you had Rory McIlroy there, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Louis Oosthuizen, Jon Rahm. I mean, these are all guys who have won majors before, and it was no surprise they were in such contention. But the way that some of them fell away on Sunday, that did come as a surprise.
Yes, and of course, we talked about it on our show last week, is what was it going to take to play well at Torrey Pines? And it became very evident on the back nine, Diane, that if you started to miss fairways, then you were going to struggle. We saw Rory 3-putt 11, then hit it in the fairway bunker at 12 and make double. We saw Bryson get it in the rough at 13 and make double, and then he made another quad at 17. We saw Oosthuizen miss the fairway at 14, and you know, then he hit it in the water, hit it in the hazard at 17. So, and then he couldn't hit the fairway at 18. So it was very apparent. And I wanted it to be this way. I don't think it's right that you can hit it anywhere, like Bryson's theory about how to play. And was it the USGA golf gods that were the ones that strapped 44 on Bryson on the back nine yesterday? Or maybe he has to tweak his model a little bit and put it in play.
It's it's the final day of a major, and it's always exciting. You know, we accept that. But I think Bryson would have got a little bit of a shock in that over the first 3 days, especially after Saturday when he went bogey free, he had kind of portrayed the fact that, you know, he has his own unique strategy, which we all know. And he was like, well, hey, it's working for me, so I'm going to keep going out there and I've got a good chance to win on Sunday. Then Sunday, it didn't work. And it does just show that if you do want to attack a golf course like Torrey Pines in your own way, fine, it might work 3 days, but it's not going to work all the time. And that was a pure example of it.
Watching Jon Rahm come in yesterday, he did miss the fairway at 17, but it was in a fairway bunker. It was a very average lie. That was a very underrated shot he hit out of that bunker to make a birdie. We're going to talk about that birdie putt for years to come, but that second shot out of the bunker was incredible. But what did he do on 18? Yeah. He hit that power fade right into play. And that's, to me, at the end of the day, Diane, all of these guys couldn't quite keep the ball in play at the end. And that is exactly what the USGA wanted. And I think the tournament came off superbly.
My heart breaks a little bit for Louis Oosthuizen, who he won the Open Championship in, 2010, but he's finished second 6 times in majors. And really, if he'd have had that ball in the fairway on 17, it could have been a very different situation. But isn't it crazy how that final day pressure in a major just really is? I mean, it gets to people no matter how experienced you are.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought Louis up on 17, because I told my son Sam and I were watching the golf, and I said to him, he said, what's going to happen? And I said, if Louis Oosthuizen hits the fairway at 17 with an iron, maybe a 3 iron, he's probably going to get to look at this tournament to win outright. He could knock it in and get to 5 under at 17, and then play 18 the way he wants to, hits the fairway, he's probably going to win the tournament. So I always say, I say it all the time, what would Jack do? And Jack Nicklaus, Tiger, you name it, they would have probably pulled back, Diane, on 17T and put it in play because they realized that was the moment that had to be hit right there, 17th fairway.
And then you've got Harris English sitting in the clubhouse. He's been finished for ages on 3 under par. And at one point I was like, wait a minute, everyone's falling away. I mean, Russell Henley, just the putter wasn't hot for him on Sunday. Mackenzie Hughes, his day took a turn for the worse when his ball got stuck in a tree.
I think you, me, and everyone else realized that 3 was not going to be enough when Harris English finished because guys were on the golf course at 6. But that should be noted that Harris English did finish 3 under. I think he finished 4th on his own, but he didn't really feel that 3rd on his own. He didn't really feel that real intense pressure that the other guys did quite a ways back, another hour behind. But that's the way major championship golf goes. But, as you say, this was a special week for Rahm. He loves this place. He said it in the interview that he's very good at Poana. I mean, he even referenced his putt on 18 of a putt that he remembered in 08 when the US Open was there. So, the guy is an absolute specialist on those greens. To make those 2 downhill left to right putts on the last 2 holes was unreal.
It really was. It was a very fitting end to our national championship here in the US. But I want to ask you this, and this is something that we had asked Rocco Mediate last week when we talked to him before the major got underway. And it was talked about a lot on social media and whatever over the weekend. But do you think Torrey Pines is a good venue for the US Open?
Well, I've read all and heard everything you're hearing as well. And it's big. It's a huge place. It sets everything in motion for the USGA. Everything's, they've got all their infrastructure in place. Is it the iconic Pebble Beach, Oakmont, Pine Valley, all the Pinehurst, all these courses? Probably not quite, but I think it works, Diane. And I think the course has some very difficult parts of it. 11 and 12, those 2 holes became very evident if you could play those 2 holes. I always think of courses when are they good enough, Diane, is what's coming up ahead? What makes you intrigued? Yeah. What makes you as a viewer can't wait? And 18 with the water was certainly the one hole that we were all waiting on, but 11 and 12, could there be a few more holes? Yeah, of course they could. But I think at the end of the day, Torrey Pines works just fine.
And at the end of the day, it's going to be a US Open that we are never going to forget for so many reasons. It definitely brought that final day drama. Right, this week, it can be a little bit anticlimactic after a major, but the field for the Travelers Championship this week is absolutely stacked. So that's what we're talking about on our tour report. We're going to dive into TPC River Highlands and give you our top picks and course analysis for the Travelers. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app and play 4-ball. It's a classic stroke play competition based on the aggregate scores of 4 players. Who makes your team? Well, pick 4 guys, 1 from each tier based on the current World Golf Rankings. Want a tip? You need 4 guys to make the cut. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app, available on iOS in the App Store.